I would like to clarify, before I start this video, that I'm not just some guy who tried Pavlov once and had a bad experience. I do in fact have over 1400 hours in the game. Okay, so as you know by the title, I do not recommend you buy Pavlov VR, and that is for several reasons. You see, Pavlov has recently gone downhill, and I mean it's gone downhill hard. So first I'm going to talk about the gameplay issues, and then I'm going to talk about the developer controversy. So if you couldn't care less about the gameplay issues, jump to this timestamp on screen here. Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about the different modes and weapons, I'm just going to be talking about the issues with Pavlov as of late. Pavlov used to be a somewhat bug-free, you know what, mostly bug-free, fun VR shooter game. Now, it has a bunch of game-breaking bugs. I'm not going to cover the small bugs like somersaulting bandages on cars, but instead we'll talk about the two bugs of issue, the hit registration and the sprinting. So the sprint bug is, in essence, the inability to sprint when you should be able to. You have your gun holstered or pointed at the ground and press the sprint button to rush an objective or intercept enemy forces, except you continue to move at a snail's pace. This is incredibly frustrating in all modes, and makes gun game particularly broken and unfun. I have seen some of the chillest players I know rage because of this bug, and frankly I cannot blame them. This bug has riddled the game for about 4 months now, and really, it's about time it's dealt with. The second main bug issue is hit registration. This is the more devastating of the two, and the one that has the most consequences by far. So if you didn't know, hit registration refers to the game registering the hits, and bad hit registration is generally when you should have hit an enemy, but the game just says, no. I started to be really affected by bad hitreg back in September with the launch of the industry update, and it seems this is when most players started feeling it as well. This isn't to say that bad hit registration didn't exist before. In fact, you can see in Competent Pavlov Player and YouTuber Chillstep's video that this issue was affecting him significantly, even back in July. I'll have his video linked down below. So now you know what bad hit registration looks like in Pavlov, but how does it affect the core gameplay? The bad hit reg in Pavlov has essentially killed gun game, and I mean absolutely annihilated it. Much like Pavlov's search and destroy community, gun game also had a group of absolutely insane gun game players. In the last month or so, almost every gun game player's Pavlov recent activity was reduced by around 75%, and perhaps the player most well known for playing gun game, the one and only Lord Fluffa, barely touches gun game or Pavlov in general anymore. This is mainly because in gun game, you're forced to use all the guns, including guns like sniper rifles, which are a nightmare to use with Pavlov's broken hit reg. Put a bullet through an enemy with one of those, and it's a coin flip to see if they'll actually take damage. Bad hit registration also affects new players, although they are less likely to notice it, often attributing it to just missing. That's the two main bugs. Now here's the developer controversy. I actually decided to wait about 4 weeks since the controversy started, to give the developers a chance to fix the mistakes they made and apologize. But here we are. Pavlov has always been a game based around modding. If you look at the number of people playing unmodded modes on unmodded maps, it seems to be between 5 and 10%. That isn't an official number, that's just what I came up with while looking at the lobby lists. Either way, the best fun in Pavlov comes from the modders, and Pavlov would have died a long time ago if it didn't have the modding community it does have. Additionally, many of the Pavlov developers were once modders, and the popular Pavlov modes, the Hidden and TTT, were mods long before they became official modes. With all this, you would think the devs would have some appreciation and respect for the game modders, but alas, this is not the case. About 3 weeks ago, popular modder and competent player John Cletus was banned from Pavlov. The reason was preposterous, and the consequences were grim. I shall start with the consequences. Several VR Pro Leagues and tournaments had maps made by John Cletus just disappear, causing chaos. An insane amount of maps were lost, including the likes of Mirage, Lake House, and Pipes, and now other modders have to fear that they may be next. The reason? Well, the reason was laughable. Which is not surprising. There are plenty of instances of the devs banning players for really dumb reasons, but we're just going to talk about John's ban. John Cletus was banned for digging around in the Pavlov files that were already in the game, not encrypted, finding a couple unused skins, and then putting them into a custom Pavlov map. It's worth noting that most Pavlov Workshop content has been ripped from other games like CSGO or COD. And Davils has profited off of this heavily. However, when John put something he found in the Pavlov files into a Pavlov map, Dave decided to be a wee bit hypocritical. Dave made a statement on Discord about how skins are allowed and there are 0 rules on custom maps, and in the next sentence saying how it is obvious, he said that, I didn't find it obvious, that it's against the rules to put skins you find, custom skins, in a map. Sounds confusing, right? Anyways, instead of asking John to remove the skins from his map like a normal person would, they just banned him. So, apparently Dave already didn't like Cletus and was looking for an opportunity to ban him, but that's just hearsay. Pro-John Cletus protests have been happening in the Discord server and in-game, with many players changing their name and profile to that of Mr. John Cletus himself and saying, #FreeJohnCletus, but they have been more or less unsuccessful and ignored. Instead of fixing their bugs and unbanning the wrongfully banned, the devs plan to release paid skins. Skins, I think, really aren't something that would work well in Pavlov. And I have a hard time believing they're strapped for cash and need this for development costs, seeing as they have sold over 2 million copies of Pavlov at about $30 a piece. I was gonna end my review there, but while I'm here, I thought I might as well voice my concerns with Update 28. It seems they removed scoreboard kill feed, and you now cannot turn off arm kill feed. And they absolutely butchered the hidden, which is now called the hide. I guess they wanted to ruin the name as well. Anyway, they added these really dumb objective points, which once are captured, make the hidden just painfully obvious, making a game that was already hard for the hide impossible. The game already had a great meta, and I have no idea why they would ruin something so fun. Hitreg and sprint bugs are still issues as well. Anyways, that concludes my review of Pavlov. I think the game is going in a very negative direction, and I don't recommend supporting the developers by either buying the game or skins until these issues are at least addressed. If you think it's a fair review, please hit the like button, subscribe, and consider sharing, so that more Pavlov players will see it. If you feel the same way, consider leaving a negative review on Steam, so that they are forced to at least listen to the community. And if you have something to add or think I made a mistake, leave a comment. My next video will be one of the following: a hidden tutorial, a Pavlov beginner's tutorial, a more in detail review about how Pavlov ruined hidden, and a Pavlov suggestions video. Oh, and as well, clips of me making Habby147 rage quit in hidden on stream. So subscribe if you want to see any of those.